Hey mamas, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for all the support that I have received on my birthing vlog. It is so sweet, so kind. The messages have me in awe, okay? But go ahead and make sure you're subscribed. Go ahead and hit that like button and turn your post notifications on because you don't want to miss one of these videos. I'm back with the videos, okay? I am going to be consistent on YouTube. It is a must, okay? And I'm gonna do it. But I am a little bit over a week postpartum. My baby over a week, and we are adjusting to this life of two. It is everything. It is chaotic, it is wonderful, it is loving, it is messy, and it is just, it's a whole new world. It's a whole new world. But my son's currently asleep right here, so hopefully we don't wake him up. But yeah, he's so cute. He almost gives me baby fever again, but not really. So I just wanted to sit down, and now that it's kind of not so chaotic and my toddler has left the house for a little bit, I wanted to sit down and talk about my birth vlog because my birth experience, and share my birth story, because it was what I've been using to describe it. It was an intense yet empowering experience. So with my first son, I gave birth at a hospital. I had an epidural. I got delivered by a doctor that I did not even know, because I didn't realize that you don't always get delivered by the doctor that you see throughout your pregnancy. I guess it didn't connect with me. I gave birth during the pandemic. I gave birth alone with just me and my fiance, and it was such a different experience to be a first-time mom. Very intense, which led me to starting my Black Supermamas platform. But this time around, I knew once I found out I was pregnant, and because I was following people that talked about natural births and talked about water births, I did more research. And at first I was going to give birth in a hospital but get delivered by a midwife, but they end up merging with the hospital at the last minute. So it was basically a 50-50 chance that I would get delivered by a midwife or a doctor, and I was just like, well, that defeats the purpose. So there weren't any birth centers that were close to me. There were, I think there was, the one I went to was probably the closest to me, and then there are birth centers that are attached to the hospital. But this was a freestanding birth center, and it was a 40-minute drive. So I was like, I never going to sleep. Contractions started around 8. I ended up going to sleep and woke up around 3 a.m. because I got woken up out from the pain of the contractions. I will say I might use different words like surging and pressure because of the hypnobirthing class that I took. But I'll get into that a little bit later. So I kind of waited around and timed them for like an hour. So I ended up waking my fiance up at 4 and was just like, hey, I think we gotta go. And he obviously didn't believe me because a week before, again, like I said, I thought I was and I wasn't. I wouldn't say he didn't believe me, but he was kind of like hesitant. So I was just like, I'm gonna just chill. I'll let you know if it's really go time. I'm gonna start basically doing the finishing of the packing the food, cleaning. And I was just basically trying to distract myself while I went through these contractions. And my midwife letting her know what was going on, because I'm a second-time mom, things can happen quicker. And then I lived further, so they wanted to just make sure that, I didn't have this baby at home. And so I called my doula because she even had a further drive than I did. That basically everybody's on standby at this point. And so I ended up basically getting the last things together, getting myself like cleaning, doing the dishes, doing everything, trying to distract myself, trying to be like, okay, this is not it. They're gonna go away. But they kept getting stronger, and I knew in the back of my head this was it. But I was just kind of like, I don't want to get turned around. I want to drive all the way out there and then us get turned around. So by like 6 o'clock, I think I had one last contraction, and it like literally brought me to my knees, and I was like, okay, this is it, let's go. So my fiance was like, finally, like I was waiting on you, because he was just kind of like, what is she doing? Because I was like vacuuming, I was doing all the most random things. I was just like trying to distract myself. And in order to get admitted into the birth center, you have to be 5 centimeters because they want to know that you're in active labor. And so sorry, And so we ended up leaving the house around 6:30ish, got to the birth center around 7:15, and they ended up checking my cervix, because the whole time I never got my cervix checked. It was just something that, like, if you don't know, it doesn't really let you know too much. So I don't know how many centimeters I was dilated maybe before, but when I got checked at the birth center, I was 6. So that was encouraging, because I was like, okay, this is a real thing. And they were like, good call, because you were 6 centimeters. And I was like, okay, it's game time. It's only 4 centimeters that I could push this baby out. And so basically I ended up probably getting into the pool within like an hour of being there. So I was in there, the pool probably for like an hour and a half, 2 hours maybe, I don't know. It felt kind of long, but I don't really know. So I ended up having my son by 10 or almost 11. So I was I basically did my laboring at the birth center for like 3 hours. And I will say that it was like I said, intense but empowering. I definitely had to trust my body. I definitely am grateful that I did the hypnobirthing class with the Positive Birth company. So thank you for that. It definitely taught me how to get my mind right. I mean, I didn't do it perfectly, but the breathing part, it changed the game, because I was really trying to calm, and I don't have a high pain tolerance, okay? So me breathing and me remaining calm was like the best thing to me, because I can go left real quick. I can just start getting anxious, and that's the last thing you want to do. You don't want to get your adrenaline pumping. You don't want to be all worked up and anxious and stuff. Like, the calmer you are, the better. So hypnobirthing, I recommend it to everybody, for everybody to do it, because it basically just reprograms your mind, and it doesn't look at birth as pain. It allows you to take that negative mindset out of it, and to really just focus on connecting with your body, connecting with your breath, connecting with your baby, and just trusting yourself, and just being as calm as possible. So definitely look into that if you are about to give birth, no matter what type of birth you're giving. But I will say that I am still team, if you want to go to the hospital and you want to get an epidural, I support it. If you want to go this route, I support it, because it's just so many different cases and scenarios, and not everybody has a low risk pregnancy to have a birth at a birthing center, which I'm very sensitive to. But it took a lot of strength. It took a lot of digging deep, and it took a lot of like looking past the pressure, the pain, and just really trusting my body. Because I mean, this was the first time I did this. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know when I was supposed to start pushing. With my first son, I had an epidural. I couldn't feel nothing. I could not feel nothing. I was even getting aggravated at the hospital with my first son, because I couldn't feel when to push, and they were like, push. They were just like, push, but you gotta push harder, you gotta push harder. And I'm like, I don't know. And I remember I ended up tearing with him. I ended up pooping on myself with my first son. And with this one, I remember I asked a couple times, like, hey, like, when do I start pushing? And they basically were just like, you know, trust your body. And it was really like, kind of like, this is on you. You know your body best. You know what you're feeling. If you want to bear down, if you want to push, you're okay to do it. Because I only got checked twice when I got to the birth center, and the second time I got checked, I was 8 centimeters, and they ended up breaking my water. And that's when things like sped up very, very quickly, because my water didn't break with both births. So once they did that, both times, the hospital and the birth center, when they did that with both my pregnancies, I remember things just sped up so quick after that. And so so when they did it at the birth center, I think I had them within like 30 minutes after them breaking my water. I don't know when I got to 10. I just know that I pushed when I felt like I was pushing. He was here. But I remember pushing the first time like I had to pee. I felt like I was like using the wrong muscles. And I remember the second time I was like, okay, it feels like I have to poop, so I need to push like I have to poop. But in a way I was like, I don't want to poop. But and so I remember I felt him like right there, and they were like, do you want a mirror so you can help? And I'm like, I'm not one of those. No, I have a weak stomach. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm like, I don't need to see. I just need to get him out. And I remember they were like, okay, next contraction, push again, go with it. And I remember, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, forget that. I was over it. I was tired. I was like, it was just like, I felt him right there. So I remember I just pushed, and I mean, something came over me. I remember looking at my fiance to turn off the camera. I don't know what, but I was like, turn off the camera. Like, I don't want to. And I'm, in a way, I'm like, I wish I would have got that part, but I feel like I didn't, because I know, I mean, I was in the moment, and I just didn't, I felt like I didn't want to see myself through that, because I felt like something came over me. Like, God was like, here I am. And so, I remember I pushed like 3 times and he was out, and it was just, you know, babies that are born in the water come out differently, so they're not crying, they're kind of more relaxed, they're calmer, and their color takes a while to get there. But it was just such like of course, like once he came out, everything, I forgot everything, like nothing even mattered. And then at the birth center, I did have delayed cord clamping, so that's when they basically don't cut the cord right away, so they're able to get all the nutrients from the placenta. And so that was like 10 minutes. So I stayed in the birthing pool, and then I ended up getting out after that. And of course I had delivered the placenta after that, which I don't remember, because the first time, again, I had an epidural. This time I felt, you know, when I delivered the placenta, which was not that bad. I mean, I had like one big cramp and then I delivered it, but I felt so relieved after that, because it's like, you don't realize how heavy that thing is. And then they had to push, you know, some of the stuff out after, and then after that I was all ready to go. And I took a shower, and then I laid down with my baby, and I was home by 3 p.m. I had him by like 10 something, almost 11, and I was home by 3 p.m. because you don't have to stay long in the birth center. You get to go home within 2 to 4 hours if everything, well, that's at the birth center that I gave birth at. 2 to 4 hours, as long as everything looks good. And thankfully, and I give all glory to God, everything looked good. My baby was healthy, I was healthy, and I was back at home by 3. So, which was cool. And it was also convenient because we had actually dropped my son off the day before just to spend time with his grandma and to sleep over at the house. And so it was crazy that I went into birth while he was over there already. So I remember just kind of being worried, like, oh my gosh, like I didn't even get to like prep him for this. I didn't even get to say, you know, see you later or anything. And I just was like, oh my God, he's gonna come home and he's gonna be so shocked that there's a baby here. Like I mean, he's 2.5, but still, you know, mom guilt. I was like, oh my God, he's not gonna be an only child no more. So that was interesting. But definitely, I definitely do feel like it's important for me to share this experience, to share my story, just because as a Black woman, it's things that I feel like we need to see. We need to see positive birth experiences. We need to see having birth in an alternative way, and you know, that could be beneficial to us, because obviously there's facts to back it up. It is not in our favor to give birth. The statistics are not something, I don't want to talk about it because it can be triggering, but it is just, it's a lot, and it is real, and it is happening to way too many of us. And so I'm actually very, very happy to share these experiences, to share these very vulnerable moments, because I want somebody that looks like me. I want Black women to know that we can do this, and encourage my community that I have built, a platform I've built, with showing the good, the bad, the ugly, the hard, the beautiful, and everything in between. And but other than that, I'm doing very well. After I gave birth, we went back to the birthing center like 48 hours later, and basically that's when they did all the newborn checks, his hearing tests, and they made sure everything was good. And then, I mean, we've been chilling ever since. I think some tips that I would give with birthing in any situation is, 1, hypnobirthing. Look into it, period. Case closed. 2, really be intentional about who is in that room with you. I know everybody wants to be surrounded, but in that time, you need people that are going to uplift you and encourage you. And I highly recommend a doula, and I highly recommend you to have people that are going to speak life over you, and to remind you how strong you are, and to not take the attention off of you. Overall, I'm blessed. I give all glory to God that I had a great experience. I know I'm proud of myself. It's something that shocked me, that I can't even believe I actually went through it, because again, my pain tolerance is trash. And I just never thought that this was something I would do, but I did it. Like, nobody around me has done it, so I didn't really know an experience to go off of. So I'm thankful for the people that I follow on Instagram that encouraged me. It's made me so grateful for my body. Like, I don't care how it looks. I don't care. I feel like I can do anything in this world. I thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, turn your post notifications on, as well as if you want to connect with me on any other social media, at Black Supermamas across all social media channels. I thank you. If you are pregnant, I send all positive vibes and love and prayers your way. You can do it. Trust your body. Speak life over yourself. And remember to breathe. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Breathe, breathe, breathe. And you are an amazing mama to be. And I hope that you are able to see that